Hard work is the key to success, and it is this hard work which pays in the long run. And that is the hard work we are putting in to give you all those words, all those idioms, all those things which are related with Greek mythology. See, various students come up with this feedback as soon as they see the title that this is not CLAT syllabus. Who told you, dearies, this? CLAT did not say that they are not going to give you vocabulary. They are not going to give you synonyms and antonyms. And it will be based on the passage. The passage which will be framed of the sentences and the words. If you are reading a passage and it comes in that it is a Herculean, it was just an Herculean task for the editor to compile the thing. Now, do you know Herculean task? You will not say that time that Hercules is not in our course, sir. No, you have to be prepared for each front, and this is what we are doing. I started with connection of the mythological words, the mythological idioms, words, foreign words. You can call them by various names, but it is an amalgamation of all of them. We've done 3 of them earlier in the last class, and we move on. This was the first one we did yesterday, that is Fabian. Then the second one, that is hedonism. The third one, that is labors of Hercules, that is Herculean task. Let's move to the fourth one. Lucullan. Lucullan is living a luxurious lifestyle. Now you will say, ma'am, what is the connection between hedonism and Lucullan? See, this is a lifestyle, a luxurious lifestyle. Everybody longs to have this lifestyle, having a lot of money, synonymous to the word. In fact, you are very rich, like Tata or Birla of business tycoons. You are sumptuous, you have lavish, magnificent, elegant. Naturally, when you become rich, see, some will come up, ma'am, extravagant means to spend a lot of money. But do you think without money you have, can you spend it? No. It could be somebody who is very prosperous, or who is, redundant, having more and more money. But since I'm not giving you a synonymous for rich, I'm giving you for a person whose lifestyle is Lucullan. The person who is rich is called satrap, which is coming up in the next one. Now, Liculus, Licinus, Lucullus. See the rhyming and the alternate the words here. This is an alliteration. A celebrated Roman general of the 1st century BC was fond of the good things of life. After he retired from the wars, he devoted himself to a carefree life of luxury. Plutarch tells us that his daily entertainments were ostentatiously extravagant. What is ostentatiously? Decoratively. He used to spend a lot, many things. He used to decorate those things, lavish things. When we say lavish, table used to be there. Not only with purple coverlets and plates set with precious stones. Those plates were made of gold and they had precious stones, ruby and emerald on them. Nobody would like to eat on them. Just see and admire the beauty of them. They were dancers and dramatic recitations, but with the greatest diversity of dishes and the most elaborate cookery. They had something which was really very wonderful. This means Lucullan. It's a lifestyle which is rich, which is sumptuous, which is lavish, which is extravagant. It's a style of living in which a person is living and comfortable life. Not only comfortable, comfortable will not be a sufficient word for this. You have too much. This is called redundant. Surplus. More than required life. That is called Lucullan. Turning to the next word, I hope it is clear. So I'll link all the 3 words together. Satrap. Satrap is a person who is a very rich person. He's a rich person, a person with some power or influence, a big shot, a Nawab, Pasha or Badshah, Raja, Tycoon, Mughal or Bigwig are used in the similar way. Don't get confused. See, I just first link it here. See, first thing was hedonism. Hedonism is living a comfortable life where you have no problems, no tensions, you're not bothered about anything, you're living a pleasurable life. Okay? The same way Lucullan is, see, hedonism doesn't guarantee I am doing CR, in fact, critical reasoning, that hedonism doesn't say that they have money. But Lucullan says they have a lot of money and they are living a rich, comfortable life. And satraps are those people who live they live a Lucullan life. So it is the viceroys or the governors of the province of ancient Persia. They were called satraps. Also, people used to handle those things and used to, take care of the money and the treasury and things and that. They used to be called satraps. Sometimes humorously, sometimes truly, sometimes contextually. The ancient Greek humorously referred to a subordinate official with power and wealth. जिसके पास भी power और wealth, उसको हम क्या कहेंगे? Yes, a satrap. A really humorous title is Panchandram. Please note the word, another synonym. Write in your notebook maximum synonyms coined by Samuel Foote. A serious word, it is a serious word for a governor of a province of conquered land is, yes, who is it? Proconsul. Proconsul or Panchandram are synonym to, yes, satrap, and you have a long list and vistas of idioms and synonyms coming with it. From the Roman title for that official. So anybody who is very rich, satrap, a person who is living a lifestyle which is a person who is very rich and has a rich lifestyle, that is Lucullan, and living a pleasurable and comfortable life is hedonism. And the person who lives that life, hedonist. I hope the confusions, the cobwebs of confusions are removed, and I move on to the next. Sowing the dragon's teeth. See, must have heard in English, as you do, so shall you reap. So is put in the earth, right? And what do you sow? Dragon's teeth. Now suppose you don't know, dragon is a devil, and if you put in the earth instead of the seeds, dragon's teeth, what will be the product? Positive or negative? Come on, tell me. Positive or negative? Of course, the answer, negative. It will not result in something good. It will have a negative impact. It is what the idiom means. This is a way of finding the answer. Multiple choice, elimination. If the answer says sowing the dragon's teeth means living a very principled life, it can't be so. It is doing something that may lead to disastrous results, very bad result, or even to war. What can it result to? War in future. That is sowing the dragon's teeth. In Greek mythology, Cadmus went in search of his sister, Europa, who had been abducted. She was kidnapped by Zeus. In the course of his wanderings, he killed a dragon and at the advice of Athene, planted the teeth. A fierce band of warriors arose from the teeth, and again at the advice of Athene, Cadmus hurled a stone among them. Each blamed his neighbor, with the result that a free-for-all took place, that means a fight where everybody was involved, until almost all of them were killed. So this says that you are doing something which will, what will be the result? It's not compulsory, it will be what? It will be a very bad, evil result, or it will be resulting in war. If Pakistan does not stop terrorism, and if it continues in the same vein, they are just sowing the dragon's teeth. Yes, the sentence helps in understanding, comprehending, enhancing a better perspective for the idiom. Right? Getting aside and moving to the next one of the idiom section. Sulk like Achilles in his tent. What is idiom? Sulk like Achilles in his tent. Must have heard of one more idiom. Yes, come on, recall, recap, rememorize. What is Achilles? You must have heard of Trojan War. Ulysses, the general, and his friend Achilles, and this idiom must have all surely heard of. Achilles' heel. It was considered that the energy of Achilles is in his heel, and if you'll press his heel, if you'll hit on that, he would die. That has nothing to do with this. Of course, I'm just reminding you the great Greek hero Achilles, who died and went to heaven. This was believed. It was a mythological story based on it too. Now, sulk means, very sad, sullen, sulky, not happy in fact. And you are sad, you are long-faced, like Achilles. And which literary device? Yes, simile, in his tent. You can change this to his, her, or you can omit the word. To refuse to participate in an important undertaking because of personal grievance. You have some grievance, some problem, some fight, some woe, and you're not able to participate. Why? Because you carry some personal grudges. Don't carry those personal grudges. So, in Greek mythology, during the siege of Troy, Achilles, the greatest of the Greek heroes, he was a great Greek hero, refused to fight because of a quarrel with his leader, Agamemnon. He had a fight with whom? His leader, Agamemnon, who had taken away a captive girl. He took a captive girl, awarded to Achilles. Achilles was given a captive girl, he took away the leader. Achilles withdrew to his tent, As children, Mama, I want a chocolate, and chocolate is not given. Okay, I'm going to my room. I won't talk to you. This is what this withdrew to his tent and didn't go out to fight until after the death of his friend Patroclus. The phrase means to refuse to participate. Underline the meaning. This is the gist of the point. Gist. That is to refuse to participate in an important undertaking because of personal grievance. You had, to explain you further, you had a fight with your friend. Your friend invited you for his birthday and you said, I'm not going to come for your birthday. Why I will not come for your birthday? Because we had a fight. Forget it, bury the past, join back with your friends again. Life is too short, right? This is my view. Coming back to it, that means sulk like Achilles in the tent. I give you an example to explain you further for a sentence. Small children have a habit that they sulk like Achilles in their tent when their parents do not fulfill their demands. When John asked for a Robert and his father did not get him, so he sulked like Achilles in his tent. Right? Wonderful. I hope it is clear to you. You've understood the idiom thoroughly, right? And you are not going to mix and merge the idioms one with the other, and there won't be a problem related to it. Yes. Turning to next, Sword of Damocles. Now, I'll continue with this in the next class, but I just wanted to show you once, because every time the students give a, kind of feedback, ma'am, please just a quick recap you should do every time. So I said I'm going to start with this and I'll do a quick recap of all these 7 idioms, right? And I'll also give you, yes, an exercise, the most awaited exercise. Right, students? Thank you for today.